Hello. It is August.
It's August.
Sorta.
Yeah, and we're still wearing the same thing
I'm wearing the same thing I wore in July.
Isn't it funny how we remembered to wear exactly the same outfit?
It makes things more fluid.
Yes.
I make notes of these things.
Exactly.
What I generally make note of is don't wear that, you wore it last week. But this is actually very cute. I like this one. I don't know what that one's called. We started talking about it and then we got distracted.
Yeah, I know I have those in my yard, but I call them puffballs, but that is not the right word.
It looks like a purple dandelion when it's ready to go.
Yep. Yeah.
But Tony liked that description, evidently. Either that or he's just laughing at me, which is probably the more apt description.
Could be.
But that's okay. So we are doing the August block. It is darling. It's going to have a little bit more color in the background. We've got an orange and white little guy there. Mm-hmm. To prep this one, you're going to bring in your quilt square.
Yep.
And then do make sure that you slide that down.
Yes.
So that your stem
centered all the way down.
Centered and then all the way to the bottom. You don't want it centered in the middle. You want the stem to actually be at the base of your square. So
exactly.
Make sure you move that down.
And we have the pre-quilting block in here, or the quilting block in here. So that makes our design a little bit bigger than the traditional 5x7. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be 6.5 by 8.5. So we're using our 7x12 magnetic hoop.
It's a good one.
And should we just get started?
I think we should jump in.
All right.
I have just a kind of creamy off-white thread in that we're going to use for our... Something's missing.
we don't have green for
not green. So I'm going to do the background quilting in that same creamy white that we've been doing for so many things of these squares of late.
Yep. So this is going to be our placement line for the batting.
I don't think we need any of that.
Probably not. All the good stuff is on page 3 or something, right? Yeah.
Page 3.
Yeah, this is a nice one. It's not 17 pages long. Sometimes the instructions have a lot of information.
You're not wrong. That's not going to fit up there.
No.
So we're going to start with our batting placement. I don't know if this is, it's just big enough if I recall correctly. Yeah, just. We'll go with this guy. He's going to fit in there just perfect. All right, so we're going to tack down our batting. I don't know who cut these squares or what they were cut for, but.
Probably Kathy.
It was probably Kathy, but I don't know why.
Right. She could have just been cutting, like, them down to fit in the drawer.
Mm-hmm.
To organize us.
Kathy, organize us? She's really gonna like those clips.
Yeah, she's gonna like those clips. Did they come?
They did.
Nice.
I put one on and promptly dropped the other one that I had in my hand. I don't know where it went, so we're one shy.
Yeah, they're clear and small, so it's really hard. They're hard to find until you like step on it or roll over it.
When you're trying to hold something and clip.
Yeah.
I just lost my grip on the opposite hand. So we'll have to decide how we want to. Just the top.
Yeah.
See how that goes. I don't think I bought enough for top and bottom on everything.
All right. Well, you are going to have a challenge for trimming so close to the edge of this, aren't you?
I might have made that
challenge for the day.
Challenge for the day. Let's see. Here we go.
So it does go around there 2 times so that you can trim nice and close.
It's a little choppy.
Yeah. And then normally it is going to give you a placement line for your fabric next. If you don't want to stitch that out, you could certainly skip it, because if you're doing it this way, you know that the fabric needs to go over top of the area that we are working on. And I am going to go ahead and do that.
Down arrow.
Yep. And so then we're just going to do the tack down of the fabric.
Look at
and
me
then
go.
do our quilting.
Got this. Also got knocking 20 things off, but that's okay. Nothing like using everything, right?
Right.
I think I've done this before. It just fits.
Just fits, yes. But
All
just
right.
fits counts.
It does in this case. All right, so we are going to make sure we're covering up everything with a decent amount of overspray. Because she skipped that, we're going to tack it down now.
Yep. And it's a pretty decent sized fabric piece because, again, it's
Kimberbell.
It's Kimberbell, yeah. And they don't know if you're doing pre-quilting or if you're going to try and hoop it. So.
All right, next step is going to be the quilting itself. This is going to be just a couple minutes. Here we go.
Oh, after we skip.
So yes, if you are combining the quilting file and the stitch file, there is the alignment and the tack down.
Yep.
So we are going to skip that. So there is like the little T, upside down T at the base, which is your alignment piece. And then there's a squaring stitch to hold down your fabric if you were not pre-quilting.
Exactly.
If you've already pre-quilted, you want to skip those. If not, then make sure you do those.
Yep. Yep. So we fast forwarded to color number 8, which is going to be the placement line for our
the flexi foam. Let's not forget the flexi foam. Foam. Here we go. And that is going to be underneath the tulip, which, interestingly enough, is not stitched right now. We're just going to put that foam down.
Okay.
And so I'm supposed to be able to see where that was.
Right. We might have wanted to change that, right?
I really don't.
I think it's right here.
Well, fudge pucky. Right there.
Yeah.
You may want to change thread colors for that. Sounds really hard
It was
to see.
very hard to see.
It's like right in with other quilting. And
it's not really big.
It's not. I thought it was going to be bigger.
Yeah.
So I
kind of looked like a cat head, sort of. With some ears.
It's not what I was expecting it to look like. All right. Flower stem details are next, it looks like.
Which green do we want to use for that?
I think it's this one. So
one?
probably the
You like
avocado guy.
The darker one? Okay.
No. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, this is good. We're going to use ES 950 as the little stem accent. So it's one of our 2 greens that we have. And we were quilting with that just naturally off-white color again.
Okay, foam has been trimmed. Da-da-da.
Okay. I'm going to give you that.
Alrighty. Stems, here we come. This would be color stop 5 if you were not combining. You're on 10.
Are we here?
No, that's column 2.
Oh, okay.
Stems, flower.
Okay.
There's one.
All right. And we are going to move into color number ES379. These are the little
Blue circle.
circle things. We can't say that word together.
Comes out very wrongly.
That's right. We'll get censored. Oh, I still missed.
It's far back there for your reach.
It is.
But that's so much better than the...
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are going to be right at the top of those little stems that we just stitched. And then we will be moving into the large leaves, which is applique. So
And this is pretty quick.
I think that's... Alrighty, our little circular blue flowers
Are finished.
are done. So the next is going to be the large leaves at the bottom.
Do we want...
Yep, I think that one,
That one,
from what
okay.
it looks like there.
So this is actually a Floriani color, and it is PF238. Kind of is olivey.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. All right, we're going to do the outline. Oh, a whole bunch of leaf stitching after we trim.
No, it seems like they could have made those two connect.
Yeah, there's a nice big old jump stitch in between them.
Right,
instead.
and then you got to clip between that with your scissors, so.
So if I were going like matchy-matchy, this is not the color I would have chosen.
Right.
But I think it still looks very nice, and it does look like the picture.
Yeah.
So you guys can take it or leave it as you think, but it also coordinates with our avocado green
Yeah.
that we used for the other. So I think we're going to use again. I think I saw that somewhere else. All right, we're going to trim off even right between those two leaves.
Just trim those. Get your favorite applique scissors. Lisa's favorites are those double curve. You've got Femore, which are really good, and the Kimberbell ones are pretty cool. They've got a nice little soft grip, slightly larger opening for your thumb and finger. It's a nice little shape, though. It's not too terrible to trim around, is it?
It's not bad. I did, in the process of trimming the fabric, I trimmed the little jump stitch that was in there too.
Nice.
So there we go. And this one is going to do like the satin stitch around, and then there's some other stems and stuff. Let me get all of that. There's more fuzz on there than I thought. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, this is probably going to take you a few minutes. It says about 7 minutes on ours. So
It's going to do around here, and then there's a large satin stitch stem, and then there's also the little fingers of our purple dandelion puff.
yes.
It's not a purple dandelion puff, but we don't know what it is, so can't come up with a name.
No.
All right, so we'll be back in a few. I think the
Alright.
tack down is in pink. Should we just do the pink?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's that one.
All right. So the next thing that we're gonna do is the cute little, I don't know, is that like a daisy maybe?
It looks kind of like a daisy.
Yep. So we're putting in a pink color, ES302. This is actually going to be appliqued onto the white fabric. When we were looking at the design, we were both like, how did they get the background like out of the quilting?
Yeah, it almost looked like they had just like cut and pasted something over top, so it took, like it had a white background and it just took away everything that was behind it, but it was actually fabric.
It was actually fabric. I just need you
see.
to do the.
I'm like, where's the thread? I can't see it. It was blending too
It
much
is
for me.
blendy.
It's
And
blendy.
we have 2 pieces
So
here.
there's one for the other.
There was 4 little pieces in here. Let's just double check and make sure it wasn't supposed to. It's very possible that we just put too many pieces in here. Yeah, I'm thinking that we just put accidentally.
we
they
just
were probably stuck together. Okay.
Yep, it is supposed to be one.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the placement line for the white fabric. The final stitch they are showing. Do you want to just put 2?
Yeah, I was gonna say you might want to either double this up or put a fusible on the back of it. It's definitely going to show your background fabric for it.
Through it.
Since we have the 2 pieces here, that really, I mean, that almost solves the problem. We might as well just put our 2 pieces there. What do you think?
We got them. Let's do it. And they're just cutting around. They're not trying to go in the...
Exactly.
So, all right, we are going to...
Really hard to see too, isn't it?
Carefully place this too.
There we go.
And then this is going to stitch basically the same thing on top. And then when we go to trim, we're only going to trim around. We are not trying to trim inside the petals and being real crazy.
Yeah.
It is going to just be the flower shape. And the pink is what they are recommending. So we didn't make that up.
Nope.
Yeah, that won't be so bad. Like, I don't want to trim that.
No.
But I don't have to.
No.
The shadow's kind of messing with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that a wrinkle? But it's not. It's the shadow. And after the flower.
Okay. And then red, right?
And then red. And then purple.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to be a trimming fool here.
So I'm putting the avocado color back in, which is ES950. The pink one we just used was ES302. I can't remember if we said that.
I don't remember either. And I am going through both layers together. I figure if they separate a little bit, that'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll just look cute.
Yep.
Like a little 3D
Give it a little
flower.
layered 3D look to it. So there is that guy. It's that way. There we go. So now we're going to do the stem for that. And again, she's got that 950 in. We're all set. Do I need to hit the threader?
Nope, I did
you
it.
got
I
it?
slid over.
Okay. Like, where's the thread?
Yeah. And this is probably like a 3-5 minute, depending on how many times it changes thing. But we'll pause it on our end and be right back for you.
We now have a very nice looking stem for our little daisy or whatever the heck that one is. So we're going to switch back over to our tulip here. We've got kind of like the back of the tulip that needs to be stitched. So that's going to be a fill stitch back there.
First.
And then we will have the applique. Oh, I was like, what are you waiting for?
On, just hanging out.
She's just looking at me like, what are you doing?
Nothing.
It's like, I can thread. Oh, never mind. There's already thread in the machine. I see what you're staring at me about now. All right, so we're going to do that back fill first, and then we'll do the applique for the front of the tulip. We are fast approaching done.
We are. A couple more little quick things, and well, I don't know how quick the purple puff will be.
I have a feeling that it will take a hot second. Maybe we should turn our scissors off for that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because even the jumps will still look fine, most likely.
Right.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, is that going to be a lot of starts and stops, or is that?
Or do they have a nice routine?
Is there a
I guess we can
path?
start it and find out.
Yeah. Gonna go ahead and do the placement line just because it's foam,
Yeah.
to make sure that we're in the right vicinity. You know, if something's been digitized for foam and you don't put foam in it, the stitches are a little off.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how I know that.
You've never forgotten.
I have
foam in
never
anything.
forgotten ever. I don't forget anything. I have mine like an elephant. It's asleep. I always forget how much it moves on top of foam.
I know you want it to be like smushed way down and not be a problem. Okay, now we're gonna trim, right?
Gonna trim.
I really think the tulip shape looks a little bit like a cat head.
I don't disagree.
With its ears a little too close. Kind of a special kitty.
I like specials. They work for me. All right, there we go. We're gonna do the satin stitch around the outside of that. Look, it even says that. Isn't
It
that fun?
does.
Took to the end of it. Satin stitch, and then we're gonna switch to the purple and do the big fluff ball.
Big fluff ball.
The big fluff ball. The kitty's gonna play with the fluff ball.
The cat would definitely play with the fluff ball. Definitely. All right, so now we're gonna put in color number ES1324, and we're gonna do this little puff ball, which is gonna be so cute.
In purple.
In purple.
If anybody knows what that flower is called, please send me a message because I would really like to know. I think I could stand to have purple fluff balls in my
These
yard.
are so cute. What are these called?
All right, here we go.
These are called, it's this, purple puff ball.
No.
That is what that said. That is hysterical. Purple puff balls.
So they're purple puff balls. Because if that's what they look like, that's what they should be called.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to have to tell Jeff that he needs to go get some purple puff balls.
Yep.
So this appears to be a very open candle wicking that's just going around and around in a circle. So in theory, this should not take.
I think ALLIUMS is also, it's a alliums.
What is a purple sensation lily?
Yeah.
Vervain flower?
You never know.
Vervain an actual thing?
I guess so. Yep.
Okay. Too funny. They're very cute. However, even without starts and stops, this says it's going to take 6 minutes.
Yeah, but it's actually stitching pretty
But
quickly.
it is stitching fluidly, not starting and stopping, because I could see this taking like 20 minutes otherwise. Yep. So we're just going to let it go around, and we'll be back in a sec. They really should ask us. I really like that, the way that it's stitched out.
Yeah, it's super cute.
So it looks really, really nice. I love the little puff for the tulip. It gives it a little bit of fun. And so this is, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one of them.
Yeah.
I really like this.
That's
this is sharp.
Yeah.
I might have to steal that and put it in something
Something
else.
else? Yeah, it's super duper cute.
Very cute. So this is August's block. We still did not put fusible on the back. Just we didn't mention it earlier.
Right.
I just wanted to mention, and it's just fine.
Yeah.
So
far we've not had any issues with the quilting.
we have not. So hope you had as much fun as we did stitching this. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.